Hey YouTube, Wes here, checking in with a finds haul from the Gainesville record show that just took place this past weekend on September 18th, 2016. Had our biannual record show here in town. It was a good show, a little bit smaller than normal, few less vendors than normal. Don't know what was going on, some other things going on or something, but still had a good time. Uh, Spent about 3 hours, a little over 3 hours there. Paid for the early entry to sort of get first dibs at things and to avoid the crowds somewhat as the day rolls on and the crowds get thicker and thicker and seems like it's harder and harder to find an empty box to dig in at some point. So really enjoy. I really do think it's worth it to pay for the early entry for this show in particular. So went in with a fairly small budget, had a couple dollars in my pocket and added $60 to that and walked out with a few dollars still in my pocket, and I paid the $5 for the early entry. So I think I spent about $59 in total, including the early entry, so $54 on records. My average price was somewhere in the $3 range, I think. The highest I paid was for around $10, and the lowest I paid was $1.66, or 6 for $10, I think was the price on those. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'll go ahead and start with these ones that were 6 for $10. Hit those bins first. I was just kind of in a cheap bin kind of mood. Looked through and found some interesting stuff, so I thought I would want to pick them up. First thing we got here is a promo copy of Michael Kamen's New York Rock. Michael Kamen of the New York Rock Ensemble. This is a solo album, but from what I understand, this is pretty much a New York Rock Ensemble album in and of itself, basically. Very similar to one anyway. On the Atco label, just have a gatefold there. That's nice. That was a nice pickup. DJ copy. A Todd Rundgren album. This is titled Faithful. 1976 on this one. He's doing a lot of covers on this album, kind of interesting. Still sort of getting into Todd Rundgren, but I want to hear some more of his music, and to be able to pick it up cheap like this, definitely will go for that. A comedy album by Robin Williams. This is A Night at the Met. 1986 is the date on this one. Don't think I have heard any of this material before. Don't recognize it. So that'll be a fun listen. Here's one I've been looking for a little while. This is Soul of the Machine. It's a Windham Hill electronic music sampler. This was released in 1987 is the date on this one. Just a lot of new, sort of new age electronic kind of music on the Windham Hill label. So it's a very nice, pleasant sort of electronic music. So glad to have finally found that one. I think Derek has talked about that one before as being something interesting, so glad to have found that. Rob Clark recently posted on Facebook a top 50 prog albums of all time list that was done by, I think it was done by Rolling Stone, and went through it and sort of saw that I had about a little less than half of these, but here is an album that was on that list that I didn't have until now. This is Triumvirate with Illusions on a Double Dimple. I have the album Spartacus by Triumvirate. I liked it quite a bit. It's very nerdy prog rock. That was extremely nerdy anyway, but cool to find this for under $2. So grabbed that definitely. So glad to have that, and that's on the Harvest label. That's always nice. Green Harvest label. Next thing I picked up an Aerosmith album. This is Night in the Ruts by Aerosmith. I guess kind of an earlier Aerosmith album from 1979. Never heard this album before, so I thought I'd like to give it a try. So pick it up for $1.66. I'll do that. At least be able to hear it and see what it's all about. Next up in the 6 for $10 or $1.66 haul, I got the album Them Changes by Buddy Miles. Nice colorful gatefold on that one, and that's another Buddy Miles album that I have not heard before, so it'll be nice to hear that, and to pick it up nice and cheap is good. Good thing about record shows. And the last thing I picked up from the cheap bins was this album titled The Image. I believe it's self-titled, 1975 on the Manticore label. Kind of an interesting progressive rock kind of thing. Main reason I grabbed this is because of it has Moog on it and Univox synthesizer on it as well. So I thought I'd just like to give it a try. And this is listed as psychedelic, psych rock kind of thing, but it's more progressive, I think, than psychedelic. But we'll give it a try. It's got interesting cover artwork, and as I said, to be able to pick these up for $1.66, it's nice to be able to try these, and if I don't like them, it's no big deal. Moving on to some of the higher price stuff, picked up a Vangelis compilation here. This is John and Vangelis Private Collection from 1983. Polydor Records, picked that up for $3. So some nice electronic kind of stuff here. Listened to a little bit of that online already and liked it. These next batch of records I all picked up from the same seller. This is the seller that had a bunch of the Mondo soundtrack reissues for like $8 and $12 last record show that I picked up. I picked up one or two. I wish I could have picked up more. But he had some good stuff. I always seem to find some good stuff in his bins. I like how he curates things. The first thing I got here is a still in shrink wrap copy of the Beatles compilation Love Songs 2 LP set. Yeah, just a beautiful copy of this, still in the shrink wrap, and really nice and sort of what do you call it? Preserved, I guess you could say. Does come with the lyric booklet that comes with it, so that's nice, and just really nice, clean, well taken care of pressing of this. I think several of these albums came from the same collection, and whoever it was had them, took really good care of them. So that was $5. That's why I picked that up. I do already have I think I have a copy of this, but for $5 I wasn't going to leave a nice shrink wrap copy like that behind. This next one was also $5. The debut album by Blondie, self-titled. 1976 is the date on this, so it was earlier than I thought it was. But yeah, just a really nice, again, still in shrink copy of their debut album. And these next two I picked up from the same seller. These were, well, this one was listed as $12, but he gave me $2 off on my total, so I'll say it was $10. This is a copy of the Beatles' Let It Be. Kind of been on the lookout for a copy of this. Just a really nice copy, and this is, again, really nice, clean, sharp corners, no ring wear, no spindle wear kind of thing, nice clean copy of this. There's the gatefold on that. It doesn't even want to open all the way. It's so nice and minty, so definitely glad to pick that up for $10. The Beatles collectors will be curious, so that's the Red Apple label on that one. And the last item I got from that seller is something I was going to buy the reissue of that's coming out very soon now, or it's already out. That is the album Metal by Pink Floyd. Again, still in the shrink wrap, even though this is a gatefold, the person left it in the shrink wrap. I think they were a military person. Some of these have labels from like PX Exchange kind of things. But yeah, been on the lookout for this album. Every time I see it, it's like $20, and the quality is just never that great on this album. So to find a really nice, clean, preserved copy of this, of course on the Green Harvest label, really awesome. I don't think this is a first pressing or anything. I think this is a little bit later pressing, maybe a late 70s, early 80s pressing. But just a really nice, clean copy of it, and that's all I'm looking for. So it saves me from having to spend the $25-30 on the reissue. So that was a nice pickup for $10. Got what I believe is the debut album by the Communards. This is titled Red, released in 1987. So yeah, that was an awesome find, something I never thought I would find on vinyl. Been wanting to buy it on CD recently. Of course, the Communards came out of the Bronski Beat, which is a group I really love, and so definitely wanted to have this in the collection. It was awesome to find this, and I think I paid $4 for this one, so that was a really nice find. I was glad to have found that one. And the last thing I picked up from the record show on Sunday, sort of a local group, I guess you could call them. They are a group out of Orlando. This is Schnicht Oct. Their album titled Subhuman Minds from 1990, I believe, is when this was released. Schnicht Oct is kind of an industrial EBM kind of group. Very industrial, almost metal-like dance music. A lot of very loud, aggressive kind of vocals mixed with some really rhythmic, electronic kind of sounds. Very industrial, as I said. Very cool. So nice to find that. Picked that up for $3 and thought I would give it a try. So that was my record show haul from this past weekend. I have set up a hotel room in St. Augustine for the St. Augustine Record Show on October 13th, I think it is. Middle of October, there's a record show in St. Augustine. I'm looking forward to it. I've got a hotel room. We're going to go spend a weekend there and do some sightseeing and go to the record show on Sunday morning. And it should be a fun weekend, so I'm already looking forward to that. So thank you for watching this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you're having a great day, great night. Cheers. Thanks for watching. See you again next time. Bye-bye.